No tire fall off. Kyle Larson dominates. Are we starting to see a bit of a rivalry between him and Denny Hamlin? Let's talk about NASCAR racing at Bristol. Hello everybody, welcome to Dirty Air. I'm your host Alex Lambert, and let's talk about NASCAR at the last great Coliseum, Bristol Motor Speedway. We had the spring race today, and we have a lot to discuss. Tire fall off did not occur like we originally thought that it possibly would. Kyle Larson absolutely dominates again, leading 411 of the 500 scheduled laps. Denny Hamlin finishes second. Are we starting to see some sort of a fun rivalry becoming a thing again with Denny Hamlin and Kyle Larson? We'll talk about that. We'll go through the top 10. Let's break down NASCAR in Bristol, Tennessee. It was a tame race. It was a very calm race. Kyle Larson was clearly the fastest race car. Dirty Air clearly played a large role in today's race at Bristol at the short track, which it does at every short track in the next-gen car, which is certainly a bit of a confusing topic. So before I talk about Larson, before I talk about the results, let's just talk about the tire wear and how it was a bit strange, because we had yesterday's practice session where we saw tires not be able to go 30, 40, much less 50 laps on a run, kind of like we saw last year. You had 40 to 50 laps on a run. You had to change. You only had 11 sets of tires. That was the storyline of the 2024 Bristol spring race, right? That was the big storyline. The tire wouldn't rubber into the racetrack. It would grade the tire like a cheese grater and just rip the tire to shreds, and that was sort of the story of that race. That's what made it somewhat entertaining to watch, right? Well, we come to today, and the sun comes out, and I think engineers, from what we understand, decided that it was about an 88-degree window. If the track temperature is over 88 degrees, then the track will rubber in. You will put rubber into the racetrack, right? If the track temperature is below 88 degrees in the spring, in the cloudy conditions, then the track wouldn't. It would destroy the tires. Very interesting situation how there's that much of a difference between just the weather situations. I don't entirely understand how that works. The night race doesn't have this issue on the same set of tires. I don't know. Just a very strange situation how we had tires getting cheese grated yesterday, not wearing it all today. You can go 30 to 40 laps yesterday on a run. That's it. Tires destroyed. Today you can go 150 at least. So probably could have went 200. So very, I think Ryan Blaney did there on the final run. So very strange situation, but certainly interesting to talk about. But let's talk about Kyle Larson dominating again. What was it in the fall when he won the Bristol night race? Was it 462 laps? Well, today it was 411 of the scheduled 500 laps. It's 500 laps in both Bristol races. Absolutely dominated today's race. Was out front all day. Took the lead on lap 40. Never lost it. Took the lead from, who was it? I believe it was Alex Bowman who got the pole. Yeah, Alex Bowman got the pole, was fast all day. And then nobody had anything for Kyle Larson. Denny Hamlin tried to catch him, and Dirty Air just played such a role getting around lap cars, trying to pass. Was not very relevant today. It was very difficult to pass, as we've seen in every Bristol race with the next-gen car, with the exception, the outlier, being that spring race in 2024 last year. Certainly very interesting. But yeah, Kyle Larson absolutely dominated today. That's really all there's to say. Kyle Larson's on a hot streak right now. Won in Miami a few weeks ago in a very strong performance there. Won today at Bristol again in dominating fashion. The 5 teams have been fast for years. They're still fast. They're still championship contending teams. Big win today. Won both stages, so you get the stage points and you get the 5 points for winning the race, and then all the points again. Once again, the max amount of points a single driver can get in any NASCAR Cup race, regular season points, is 60. He got them. The max you can get playoff points is 7. He got those too. So a great points day for Kyle Larson. Got everything that he could get today as far as points go. Exciting. Well, except the fastest lap. That goes to AJ Allmendinger. But besides the fastest lap, got everything he could today points-wise. Phenomenal day for the driver of the 5 car, Kyle Larson. Cliff Daniels always knows how to make a fast race car. Kyle Larson was able to get it around the racetrack perfectly today. Once again, there's maybe a little bit of a rivalry starting here. Second place finishing Denny Hamlin. There were some comments after the race. Kyle Larson said he's glad that he could stop the Denny Hamlin three-peat. He knows the fans are excited to see that. I thought that was funny to say, but there will be a rival that can begin to start. And I do like parity in NASCAR, but I also like when there's something that adds up, right? Makes sense, right? Kyle Larson winning 2 races, Denny Hamlin winning 2 races, Christopher Bell winning 3 races. You're seeing storylines build, right? You have William Byron with his Daytona 500, win 2 Daytona 500s in a row. I like building those storylines, right? I think that's better than having 6 or 7 guys that each have 1 win, right? So at this point in the year, certainly interesting to watch. You start to build up some rivalries, right? So Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson obviously get along off the racetrack. They've had run-ins. You go to Pocono a couple of years ago, and that's exciting to watch as a fan, right? Who are you going to pick? Are you going to like Larson? Are you going to like Hamlin? Can they go through the entire season, both stay competitive, which they're very competitive right now, both of them. They're at the top of their game. You have Christopher Bell that's also competitive, won 3 races in a row earlier this year. He's still running in the top 10 every week. Certainly exciting to see the parity is good to an extent. You don't want to have, I'm not a big fan of the 2022 where you had like every single driver win a race. Like it was 19 or 20 drivers won a race that year. I think there's a sweet spot, and right now we might be in it as far as the winners go, as far as building storylines up. Once again, that doesn't mean today's race was fantastic, but it is exciting to see Kyle Larson, who's been fast all year, win the race. Denny Hamlin try to chase him, who's been winning multiple races in a row too. That's certainly, for me at least, exciting to watch. Hopefully we continue to see some interesting storylines continue moving forward. Let's go ahead and break down the entire top 10, right? Mentioned Kyle Larson, mentioned Denny Hamlin finishing in the second position. Once again, Kyle Larson stopped the three-peat today for Denny Hamlin. Ty Gibbs, great performance on the short tracks, right? Did well at Martinsville, got caught up in issues, still finished 14th. Today, a third-place finish. Fantastic. I'm no longer extremely concerned for Ty Gibbs. There's a lot of work to be done at the bigger ovals, but I'm not, I think it was code red for Ty Gibbs, running 30th. Only top 20 and being at 16th at Daytona. Very concerning for Ty Gibbs to start the year. You're starting to see more speed show up in the 54 camp. We'll see how it continues to evolve, but I think just running up front at Martinsville, decent last week, not great, but better than 30th, and then today finishing the top 3, panic mode goes away a little bit for Ty Gibbs, right? It's still not good. It's still not great. There's a lot to improve. There's still a lot of concerns. Why are they finishing so poorly? Why are they so low in the point standings? But a third place finish today is a good relief for them. Great day for really all the Joe Gibbs Toyotas. You have Chase Briscoe again. He's had some ups and downs this season so far. A nice 4th place finish for him at Bristol. Ryan Blaney, once again, was able to use some strategy to gain track position. Track position was key. He was able to gain it on some reverse strategy moves, right? There was a caution in the middle of the stage for SVG, and Ryan Blaney was able to pit under that cycle, gained some track position, ended up with a 5th place finish. That's solid. William Byron, nice 6th place finish, was able to get back up front, finish in the top 10. Chastain, kind of a solid year for Chastain. We haven't seen a lot of noise out of him. Hasn't caused as much drama as he did when he first started running up front in 2022, but a nice 7th place finish today. He's been running well all season, finishing in the top 10 a lot this year, I've noticed. You have Christopher Bell, once again, 3 wins so far this year. Another nice top 10 finish. AJ Allmendinger also been running fairly well, getting some top 10s, gets a top 10 today. Austin Dillon, RCR, finishes in the top 10. His teammate Kyle Busch finished 14th today as well. Carson Hocevar, one of the drivers that I would say that should have been in the top 10 that didn't. Maybe Justin Haley and Carson Hocevar, but the Spire Motorsports Chevrolets did show a lot of speed today. Carson Hocevar was a top 10 race car for this entire stint of the race. Unfortunately, had a 22-second pit stop on the final stop, the money stop. That took him out of contention for any sort of better finish, top 5, top 10, ended up not finishing in the top 10. Disappointing for the driver of the 77, but showed a lot of speed today, which he has all year, but you got to capitalize on those small things. Speed's the hardest thing to get, but there's so many other small components, and if you're not capitalizing on those, it's going to cost you a lot, and it's cost Carson Hocevar a lot this year. He should be in the playoffs, and he's not even close, so that's certainly frustrating for him. That's really it, all there is to talk about. This is a bit of a shorter episode of Dirty Air race review video because it was sort of a tame race, right? I mean, Kyle Larson led the entire event. Nobody really shuffled around a whole lot. There weren't a whole lot of maneuvers. I guess Alex Bowman is somebody that I should mention. The pole sitter started on pole today, looked to be showing a lot of speed, has two race weekends in a row with massive issues. Like mechanical failures last week. I never got word exactly what happened last week, but it was mechanical failures last week for Alex Bowman. He sat on pit road at Darlington for a while. We were sitting there looking at it. And then, of course, today in Bristol, rode around with losing horsepower, losing speed for a majority of the second half of the race, and then eventually the car just gave out. It was smoking out of the pipe, blue smoke coming out of the pipes. Alex Bowman, 2 consecutive weeks with mechanical failures. They're going to have to go back to the shop and see what's going on. They cannot have that happening moving forward. Alex Bowman's a driver that should be finishing top 10 every week, running top 10 every week, was running top 5 today all day, had another mechanical failure. That's very frustrating for that team. But like I said, really all there's to talk about. We're off next weekend. I'll probably do a video analyzing the point situation entirely. And then, of course, we have Talladega coming up in 2 weeks. That should be exciting. But that's it. All there's to talk about. And, of course, about Kyle Busch getting a 14th place finish. Let's get rowdy.